Guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I don't know what happened then. Let's start again. Let's try again. The joys of live recording with FPL is like Mariner's panicking at the other end of the thing when he clicks the button to start the show when it doesn't start. Oh dear me. Hello everybody, Mariner here. How are you doing? I'm going to calm down now. Welcome to Net That Hall. Welcome to another matchup show. I'm going to look at game week 34, and as you'll see on the screen, we've got Gabe basking in sunshine across in LA. How are you, mate?
Still on the beach, Mariner. Still on the beach, my friend.
Still on the beach.
Every once in a while, I'll pop in and get a few rays, little positivity going on, and then I'll come back into the darkness of FPL. Doing okay.
And how's the and you've got some news for us. You're now writing for Fantasy Football Hub as well. Yes,
I can't tell you how it's been quite an exciting week communicating with Fantasy Football Hub, and I'm very excited to put out a piece this week. So my matchups columns will be about FPL. Surya's tremendous website, love it. So that's going to be dedicated to that, and I'm going to start writing starting this week, and we'll preview it here on Net That Hall. It'll be the first exposure to it.
We've lost Gabe now.
Players.
I think we're having some technical problems. It sounds like we're going to have one of those nights, mate. Have you got a jackhammer there?
So there's no jackhammer, but we are in this short-term rental, and I have two kids in like video conference schooling, and my wife is in the next room also on a video conference. So I don't know how good the connection here will be. So
right.
Bear with me.
Can you tell them to get the priorities right and make sure that Net That Hall works?
Net That Hall has to be the priority. I just don't understand people sometimes. People.
Oh dear me, Sean.
Hey.
It's been a while. I'm a bit reticent actually to ask how are you, but I'm gonna. How are you doing, man?
I'm personally doing well. I can be better, right? You know about the situation in our country, right? Our country, India, is bleeding with the COVID outbreak, and this is the point in time where it is, kind of. I can feel it in my bones, right? People, of course, many of us are in the privileged existence of being at home, right? Working from home. That's what I am. I've been working from home for the last year, but many in our country do not have that facility. So almost everybody I know has had somebody in the family or close friend circle who has been affected. It's been a bit of a tough time. We try to forget about this and just focus on things in hand and carry on. But yeah, things are not the best. Keep the country in your, all that I can say to pretty much all of you, keep the country in your prayers, keep India in your prayers. If you think you can help with contributions, please do. India, we'll get through this as a country, and your prayers can only help.
Yeah, I can only second that. I have to say I've got a lot of Indian friends here in Singapore and back in the UK, and I know that there's a lot of people being personally affected by it. So my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody as well, and I'm sure that's the same for all the that whole team. It makes me go all. It brings it home really to us that we're here talking about fantasy football, and there's there's things happening. It's like the IPL, you've got the IPL going on, and you just look outside the gates of the stadiums, and it's chaos. So yeah, very tough. But I'm pleased you're here with us anyway, and I hope you still try, and I hope you can muster up some humour.
Of course.
Certainly about FPL.
Right. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, we have to go on, right? We have to go on.
We do.
Thank you.
And now I was going to move to Gabe because it's the first thing I was going to do was talk to Gabe. Oh, here he is. He's come back.
I'm just trying to get this glare out of people's eyes. I feel bad for everybody.
Don't worry about it. Who cares?
See, you have the cap. We don't.
Exactly. I have the sombrero. So.
Don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. Gabe, first things first then, Net That Hall have a bit of an announcement to make.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
I'm gonna move this slide on, and I'm gonna let you take the floor.
Wonderful. So here it comes, everybody. Get ready for it. The big reveal. We've been talking with FPL Doodles at FPL Doodles 1 on Twitter. We know him, Jeremy. He's a legend. He does incredible artwork. He made I got introduced to him because he made something for my son for his birthday of all the best number 11s like in history, well, in my opinion. So he created our Net That Hall graphic here, and I mean, I love this so much because it has everything. You know, we have us netting the hall with the green arrows and in the nice blue seas. We got the troll there waiting for us. We have Hibbo trying to break through the currents. We have FPL. We have Nima in there trying to, like, you know, he's seeing which way the currents are going, which way, you know, the transfers people are making. So that's the currents of FPL, and Hibbo's trying to break through those transfers, trying to break that template that Nima's identifying. We got obviously Mariner. Well, you know, Mariner's got his hands on the wheels, but I have a feeling that really it's the Oliver the cat that's really controlling him with his mind. I got my heat maps out and the tactics, and of course, you cannot forget the crow's nest. The crow's nest will be back, everybody. It will be back. We're trying to work it out. We'll probably try it with Twitter Spaces, but and then something that I love. Well, two things. Hashtag no to racism. It's a great touch on the boat there. And then if you pay attention to the lifesaver, or however you say it in whatever form of English you speak, it's SOS FPL. It's fantastic.
SOS.
So, really,
I was just looking at the football shirts. Actually, you've got a St. Pauli shirt on.
Yes, and I'm so happy. And so St. Pauli is it's like my little Prince team, the team that I have, like, that's in my heart, that I just love them, but I don't have access to them, so I haven't been able to follow them very much. But I chose to go with that shirt instead of my traditional Real Madrid shirt, and this was Real Madrid, and this was before the Super League announcement. So I'm quite proud that I'm not wearing a Real Madrid shirt, that I have my, you know, lower league St. Pauli, FC St. Pauli. We have Mariner in his, obviously, the Grimsby Town Mariners shirt.
Yeah. Non-league Grimsby Town.
Non-league, that they get bonuses for fighting one another in Grimsby Town. We have Nima with an Arsenal, and Hibbo with his classic Celtic hoops.
Yes, it's all a bit of a. I was just trying to put the new screen. I was just trying to put the new banner up, but that's not working either. There's something going wrong with StreamYard anyway. We'll try and keep going.
It's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days.
Is. Anyway, don't worry. I've got the golf club ready as well for later.
Hey, when you're on the beach, everything just kind of slides off like Teflon.
Yeah. And we've got the troll there. We've got the troll there, which is all. We've got the compass and the troll as well from the Tuesday show. And, you know, troll of the week this week was the Brighton defence, for example, after doing what they did. And of course, the Compass show is what it is. It charts the direction of travel for FPL. And I just want to, at this stage as well, just let people know. And, you know, you'll see the hashtag no to racism. Net That Hall have taken the decision that we will support the social media blackout this weekend. We will go silent from radio silence from 3 p.m. UK time on Friday. That's midnight in I think it's 11 o'clock in Singapore. I think 10 o'clock in Singapore. Sorry, and we'll be back. I'll be back. I think 7 o'clock on Tuesday morning, my time. So that's midnight on Monday night. So
can I say something really quickly about that?
Yeah, you can.
Blackout?
Yeah, of course.
You guys, I mean, obviously, it's quite easy to come out and say, okay, no to racism, right? I mean, everybody should be doing that. That's like the bare minimum, right? And there's a perspective I want to touch on just really quickly here. We're 10 minutes in. It won't take longer than 2 minutes. If you all remember that when Zaha was the first player to not kneel at the beginning of the game, right? And that kind of statement. And there are people in the community that feel the same way and that are making a statement like that. I just want to urge people to be open-minded and understand that point of view. And that point of view really quickly is oftentimes acts become token acts. And as long as we're doing it, then that means we're stomping out racism, when it's not necessarily true. So some people feel that this ban, the social media ban, is a token act, and they may not want to participate. And that's a perfectly reasonable, opinion to have. And to be honest, I share that to a certain extent. The reason I've chosen to participate is because I do think the social media blackout does hit people in the pocketbooks, and I think it does have a very tangible effect. So I just want to say that keep your minds open, keep conversations open, and don't jump to judgment. We're all against racism. That's obvious. Just because somebody doesn't participate doesn't mean that they're not against racism.
No, absolutely. But anyways, we are, aren't we? And what we will do, and for that reason, and just this is the reason why I was going to say it as well, is that we will not be on Twitter to take any questions for the Compass. The Compass is going to be recorded on Monday morning, not Tuesday morning, but it will not go out until Tuesday morning. So if you've got any questions for the Compass, they've got to be in by Monday morning my time, just to let people know. And it's on email, which is netthathall@gmail.com.
And then another quick shout for those of you that are just itching for some FPL interaction. There is the Playmaker app. I highly recommend the Playmaker app. This is obviously separate from social media because the companies don't benefit financially, or our teams don't benefit financially from it. But there is a great community there. It's a great app with a bunch of incredible resources. Ronnie Aldino and his team have put together a great product there. So download that app. I highly recommend it.
Fantastic. Right, we must get on.
So
we need to go with the usual sort of stuff now. So, but I think there's reasons why we've started a little bit slow. We needed to get a few things off our chest, and we needed to say a few important points tonight, didn't we? So, okay, let's crack on. And first of all, let's look at the fixture difficulty as always. So this is the fixture difficulty as of now, going into game week 34. And for the benefit of the pod listeners, we as always, this is the same as what you'll have seen on the Compass show, but just to refresh people, attacking and defending, 0 to 7, 0 being best, 7 being worst. And in order of rank at the top, we're looking at Liverpool for attack now being topped with 0.9, Chelsea 1.8, Leicester 1.9, Man United 1.9, Man City 2.1. And at the bottom, Sheffield United, still bottom, 5.8. Crystal Palace, 4.7. Fulham, 4.3. Then Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Leeds, Villa, between 4.2 and 3.9. And defensively, we've got Manchester City at top, 1.1. Chelsea, 1.5. Leicester, 2. Man City, 2. Man United, 2.2. Brighton, 2.3. And at the bottom, Sheffield United 6.1. They've finally not broken the metric again. West Brom 5.5. Palace 5.5. Burnley 5.1. Newcastle 4.9. Southampton 4.9. And Spurs 4.7. So that's where we are. I think I've been saying this for a few weeks, guys, but we seem to be polarizing ourselves. We've got teams on the beach now. Gabe's got his hat on. He's on the beach. I wish I was on the beach with FPL, quite frankly, because I completely had another red arrow this week. Sean's been on the beach since about December.
Right, that's true.
I mean, team-wise, look at these. There's some targets now, aren't there? There's clearly targets to be had, I think. Sean, come to you first. What's your perspective on this?
This is last 5 game weeks.
This is what this is based on the last 6, but what it is actually obviously as of now. So if you were to just do a fixture difficulty, if you were going to do your fixture difficulty ticker on Excel or whatever you wanted to do it on, this is what you would base your numbers on, according to us. Absolutely. And I was actually thinking of doing exactly that. And this is exactly, some of this is kind of, intuitive. You can kind of see this. Some of this is not. As in, say, for example, the Spurs defense, right? What would pretty much be in your
mindset. You think about the Mourinho, team, which was maximum defensive and things like that. However, that has changed, and you understand that, well, our Spurs defense is not something to really worry about, and that is pretty fantastic. Again, the Leeds attack. Is this around the time that the Leeds attack is supposed to be really good, though it isn't anymore, right? Leeds at 3.9. It's pretty much down over there, right? So you have to be a little careful about just choosing Leeds attacking players because of what they had done preseason. However, it's important to note that whatever rank you are in, if you want to have a good rank at the end of the season, there will be a lot of Gabes and Bagan boys who are pretty much in the beach, and you can just steamroll past us by just playing the sensible game at this point in time. Also, there could be a potential for many, double game weeks and blank game weeks as well. So playing it careful at this point of time really makes sense.
Yeah. Fair enough. Gabe, I'll come to you on the next slide, actually, just to gather a bit of time back. We go to the fixture difficulty. I've highlighted a few here, and we can clearly see that we've got some very, very tasty matchups coming up in the coming weeks. We'll start with if we look at the 34 to 38 form, so 34 to 38 averages, attack. You've got Liverpool there sitting with an average 3.7. Now, that is crazy. If you plug that into Ben Krellin's spreadsheet and you went on the red and green logo, it's black. It's so dark green. It's ridiculous. It's virtually off the scale. They've got Liverpool. They've got Man United. Clearly, that's not such an easy game, 1.3. But then they've got Southampton, 4. West Brom, 4.6. Burnley, 4.2. Crystal Palace, 4. So is it Crystal Palace? 4. Yeah, West Brom, Burnley, Crystal Palace, 4, 4.6, 4.2, 4.6. Liverpool's fixture difficulty for a forward is insane.
It's off the charts, and I think we've been talking for a few weeks about this sleeping giant in Liverpool, right? And we've seen the potential, and then they give you football blue balls, right? And then sometimes they won't, which is what keeps your hope up a little bit. And we will talk more about Liverpool later on, obviously, in the show, in terms of what's the best way to invest in Liverpool, right? A lot of people are getting scared owning Jota right now because he had a bad game against Newcastle. There's a lot of as we're getting down to that tail end of the season, there's not much to look forward to. And we're using I'm seeing a lot of recency bias. So Jota against Newcastle is one. Before that, his form was off the charts. He was scoring every single game, whether he started or not. Then he had one bad game against Newcastle, and a lot of people are looking to sell. I certainly wouldn't sell. But then some people are looking to differentiate. So Shum and I are on the beach, and we will certainly just sit back and let you all steamroll right past us. We don't care. But some people, and they will care, and they'll be looking to differentiate in maybe getting a player like Mane or going double Liverpool defense. So that's not what the FDR shows, right? The FDR shows invest in attack.
No, it definitely suggests double attack.
Right.
It actually suggests someone like Trent and 2 attackers. You're going for attackers with Liverpool.
Right.
I want to just bring another point in. Look at Leicester as well. 2 very, very good fixtures short term in Southampton and Newcastle. Then they just go off a little bit, then come back at the end with Spurs. They really like Spurs. City clearly are okay, of course. They're bound to be. But I also just want to point out at the form, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, what you can see. And you'll see that's Leicester and Liverpool, are improving. That says that they are getting better than they have. They are better now than they have been for the whole season, as well. So that's with respect to numbers.
You know what's interesting? I want to, and going to that form, we're looking like I wanted to bring up Leeds again because Shum is a Leeds is like his little Prince team. it's
Yeah, very true.
his little special place in his heart for Leeds, right? And Leeds, you know, it shows their attacking form, right, is 0.1, which is not great, and their defensive form is 0.7. But if you look at their matchups recently, the fixtures, they've been tough matchups. So what Leeds has done is they've gone into a shell in terms of their style of play. Now, what I mean by that is that they're not sending players from deep lying positions forward. But Leeds fixtures are about to change, and so I think we're going to see a kind of and the other thing is Rafinha has been injured, right? So Rafinha injured and the tough matchups. I think Leeds attack has been kind of dormant for a little bit, but I think they're going to wake up here at the end of the season. Bielsa's going to want to finish strong and make a statement, especially given that they're safe. This is not a team that will be on the beach.
No, I'd say one thing though: the news out for Rafinha is not good by the looks of things. According to the press conference, I don't know whether he's got some hematoma or something in his leg. I can't quite recall what it was, but what I would say is that they don't know when he's going to come back. So I actually think my feeling at this moment in time that the only Leeds asset to own is Stuart Dallas.
Yeah.
The only Leeds asset. And I think this is a very common statement which has been coming out this week. I think I heard it on The Wire. I enjoy that podcast. And they said, get on Dallas now because it's the last time you're going to have a chance of getting on him as a defender.
Yes,
he won't be a defender next year.
And the fixture list is just impossible. You look at Brighton, Tottenham, Burnley, Southampton, West Brom. That's with the Tottenham that we are seeing right now. It's pretty unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, looking at those, I think Brighton are fairly ranked reasonably with respect to defence. That's not going to be easy. I think that's a low scorer. Spurs, we don't know what's going to happen there. Burnley, they're playing like Barcelona at the moment going forward, so they're probably going to leave some holes. Southampton beached. West Brom will be down by then. They could definitely do some. They could definitely do some damage from 36 onwards. But I'm just not sure if Rafinha's still out. They've got a problem.
Yeah. Although Brighton's attack, in the FDR, their attack is not so good. So Stuart Dallas could get that clean sheet and perhaps some bonus, right?
Yeah. No, I like the look of Dallas. Yeah. I really do. But I'm not going to be able to own him this week.
And Dallas is a true two-way player, right? And that helps.
Yeah. I'll just mention one other thing here. If you look at average forms, that's attack and defence here, Leicester. And one player who jumped out at me, providing he keeps playing on the right, Castagne. I really like the look of him as long as he's on the right. On the left, he doesn't have the same, he doesn't seem to have anywhere near the same production. But on the right, he looks a very good option. So I've just mentioned there two players who I think are pretty essential for the running, and that is Dallas and Castagne.
Those are great shouts.
From my perspective.
Both are great shouts, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, looking at the fixture difficulty, I think that's what we want to try and do with the fixture difficulty, is try and promote thought coming out of it, right? Yeah. So now we go to the next thing, which is actually the rankings 1 to 20 with respect to the run-ins. So this is now for the run-ins. So looking at the fixture difficulties, and we're going to see that for attack, I'm going to give you the top 5. Liverpool, Leicester, Man U, Man City, Chelsea. And at the bottom, Brighton now, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Fulham and Wolves. Spurs 15th. And people are talking of trebling up on them. And even I've discussed it. Gabe fell off his chair laughing when I mentioned it on WhatsApp last week.
I remember your face full of shame when you had Bale in your squad, and now
I'm thinking about bringing him back in again.
Inexperienced manager with a team that has basically nothing to play for. People are talking about traveling up. It's like, okay,
God help me. And as for defence, top ranked Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, Man United, Leeds, top 5. So Leeds now 5th. That says it all.
Wow.
That says it all. Leeds are a different beast than what they were earlier in the season. Completely different.
Yeah. And we are talking form. And we are talking form right now after the 5 last game weeks they had.
The tough games.
Wow.
Correct.
Yes.
So maybe he's got a new bucket. I don't know. Maybe he's got a new bucket or something. I don't know. I have no idea what.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, Sheffield United last. Howdy do. Nobody really guessed that, did they? You know, as I said,
Yeah.
one of my favourite sayings is "No shit, Sherlock." West Brom 19th, Palace 18th, Southampton 17th, Fulham 16th. You know, these are targetable teams now. As far as I'm concerned, you know, and the fixture difficulty is going to pick this as well. When it comes to if the Captain Metric has playing teams here, providing that the attacking side is half decent, the Metric will pick that player. Almost certainly now. Because looking at the rankings and how low they are, it's not surprising. And then the average, and this is where you're looking for your, shall we say, maybe your attacking defenders, if you can nail one. Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Leicester, Leeds, Everton, top 7 there. So there we go. There we've got Castagna, we've got Dallas, we haven't got Alonso. We've got Shaw, Luke Shaw, another fantastic shout there. TAA, number 4. Who else? I'm not sure we can find one from Manchester City. That's tough.
I think I've just decided on the Little Prince right now.
Right, fair enough.
Based on this, so we'll get.
Perfect.
There's no image, everybody. Sorry, there's no graphic for it. It's my fault because I just made the decision right now live.
So
I have a good guess for which one it is.
Yeah.
We'll see. When we come to it, you guess first before I say it, and then
I'll write it down here.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now, boys, is I'm just going to look to the fixtures, and obviously with 10 minutes on other things at the start of the show, so I'm going to try and just go, shall we say, for matches that really, I think, we have assets in, and I think that's probably the simplest thing to say. And when we look at this, so what we're doing now, just for the benefits of the pod listeners, is that we've got the game week 34 predictions, which were actually done on the Compass show on Tuesday. So based on the attacking and defensive fixture difficulties, Nima and I have done some predictions. And it's always good to, but what I want to do is just very quickly, and Nima's in the chat as well, so you can give him some grief if you don't like his predictions. But let's quickly whiz through these. So we've got Southampton against Leicester. Southampton's attack is no great shakes, and now Ings is out. So they're 3.1 and Ings is out, playing Leicester with a fixture difficulty of 2. A ranking of 2, which means basically that's a good defence. So, and Leicester attack 1.9 against Southampton defence 4.9. So that's very, very positive for Leicester. Hence, you can perhaps see why I've gone for a 3-0. I genuinely think there's a potential for 3-0, but Nima's gone for a 2-1.
I genuinely think that Nima is desperate to catch up with you. I think he's afraid of how many beers he owes you.
He got clobbered again this week. He's 4-1 down now.
He's gonna have to open a tab in the crow's nest and pay back monthly.
He is, and I'm an expensive guest when it comes to beer. So anyway, yeah, next one obviously is another really massive matchup in Manchester City's favour. Crystal Palace 4.7 attack against Man City 1.1. The only thing Crystal Palace have got going for them is Zaha trying to get himself sold. I think that's it. Apart from that, just forget it. Manchester City attack 2.1 against Crystal Palace 5.5. That is big, right? I genuinely think pick the right City player, they will haul.
We'll come back to that later, I think, as well. So
I think we will. I think there's going to be a certain City player is going to appear somewhere. Yes.
Yep.
I think you're right.
And I think Mariner, you being generous to Palace over here with the score.
Do you think?
Seriously. City in the mood is not a 0-4 thing, right?
I went with 4-0 and Nima went with 3-1.
Right.
Well, I like that Nima's betting on Zaha playing for a contract somewhere, playing for a move.
We might have some Palace fans on here. I can't depress them all. Look, my team's got relegated out of the Football League for Christ.
They came to the show already depressed, so let's don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm gonna ceremonially burn my shirts. Won the last game of the season. Right, next one, Brighton against Leeds. And this is an interesting one because Brighton and Leeds attacks 4 and 3.9. Not good. Not good. Against defences 2.9 and 2.3. Suggests defences over attack. I don't think there'll be many goals in this. And that's why, again, hopefully you can see how I'm coming up with my thought process here. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Neiman's gone for a 2-1 win to Leeds.
I have a small bit of commentary to give over here after you're finished.
No, you're all right. Don't worry. I'll keep going because I think that one's, again, we've already spoke about Leeds, haven't we already? And poor Baker's in the chat slamming Brighton. So I'll just let him carry on slam Brighton and do his heart's content in there.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Baker's tired of me slamming Spurs. That's why.
And now we're to another one. There's a lot of very, very big positive fixture difficulties for certain teams. Good matchups. Chelsea have got a great matchup against Fulham, but it's a local derby. 1.8 attack for Chelsea against 4.3 for Fulham. Fulham 4.3 attack against 1.5 defence for Chelsea. I've gone for a 3-1 there because I think, because of the local derby, Chelsea might concede. But I own Dave Azpilicueta, so I hope I'm wrong.
I don't think he'll play, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm so pleased.
I know you got him because he's nailed and everything, but I don't think he'll play.
Okay.
Sorry.
You shouldn't be doing this, man.
I've got the cat here.
I'm on the beach. On you. I don't care. I don't care about anything.
He's at the beach, yeah, there we are.
And Aston Villa, I mean, look, Chelsea, to be honest with you, again, got to be honest, if you can pick the right asset there, if you can get the right asset, there's a haul waiting for you. I'm convinced. You've just got to pick the right one. Is it the Havertz shout? Is it Havertz this week? It could be. It could be a Havertz week.
It could be a Reece James week.
Reece James, yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Villa and Everton. Villa attack 3.9. It's poor. They're really off the boil compared to where they are, but they are improving a bit because their numbers were insane last week. I can't remember exactly the date. I think Nima's got it somewhere. He might be able to look it up and shout it out on the thing. I've not got the XGs and everything, but it was crazy. And they're playing Everton, who's got a defense of 4. So Everton attack 2.9, Aston Villa defense 4.3. One decent-ish attack in Everton, 2 averaged or defenses, goals. Again, I see goals, and that's why I've gone for a 2-1 Everton win, and Nima's gone for a 2-2 draw. So that's the first 5. I mean, guys, I'll run through the other 5, and then I'll let you come in, Shom, on your comments. There's a few interesting things. You've got Mason Mount being mentioned there, Giroud's been mentioned, Ziyech has been mentioned. I think if you can get the right asset for Chelsea this week, I think I think you've got a good chance of getting some.
Those mentions show how difficult Chelsea is, right? They're all over the place.
I know. And that's why it's so tough. And the same with City. Although maybe we might be able to I'm not sure that City's selection will be an awful lot different to what it was last week. So in the Champions League. So I think it might be an easier week to pick who's playing. I might be proved wrong. The next one, Newcastle against Arsenal. Newcastle now attack 2.7. They're doing things.
They are.
Newcastle are doing things. You spotted that last week, Gabe.
Yeah.
I told you that St. Maximin wouldn't play, and he did.
You discouraged me. I did all this work on St. Maximin.
I was slamming you, saying you spent 20 minutes on talking about St. Maximan and he wasn't going to play, but then he did.
And like 4 hours putting that stuff together. You just totally crushed my soul last week. That's what put me on the beach, actually, those comments, I think.
So anyway, so Newcastle attack, pardon me, 2.7 against Arsenal, 3 defence. So that's neutral. And Arsenal 3.5 attack against Newcastle 4.9. But obviously Arsenal now have got players coming back. They've now got Orba coming back. They've got Laka coming back. So that'll be an interesting one to see. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Nima's gone for a 2-1 Arsenal win. But that's because Nima's he'll always go for an Arsenal win. But then Nima said something like, well, of course, this is everything after a European match, so we know what's going to happen.
The one thing I will say about Newcastle, and this is a request from someone in the chat, I just want to say Miguel Almiron.
Say again?
Miguel Almiron. Just had to say.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, it was on Twitter. I put him on Twitter for you as well. And obviously what these fixture difficulties do is they are green for good and red for bad. And the next one in the middle of the screen is very noticeably red.
It's a bloodbath.
And the fixture is Spurs against Sheffield United.
I like this.
Spurs 4.1 attack against Sheffield United 6.1. It's a good job Sheffield United are crap. And
I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
And Sheffield United 5.8 attack against Spurs 4.7. It's a good job Sheffield United are crap.
I think Baker just blocked us all on Twitter right now.
Look, this is the way the fixture difficulty works. That's how it works. We all know that statistics are statistics. Whether we agree with them or not, you've got to look at the numbers and then decide behind the statistics what is actually happening.
Well, you have to look at the numbers for Spurs and decide how you want to triple up on this amazing.
Or even transfer one in.
I'm sorry, I'm going to laugh at
no,
it.
Look, I'm still convinced it will be a comprehensive win because Sheffield United are that bad. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have. I mean, goodness me, if Binary Brewster gets a return this week, good God, we'll have the flags out.
I think Spurs should be relegated if Binary Brewster gets a return again.
Jamie's on it. Jamie's. I'm just looking at the chat now. Jamie, if Binary Brewster gets a return, you're gonna have to come on next week's show.
Yeah.
We'll get you on.
He likes he's looking for the dislike button, which is absolutely.
He is, yeah. I've seen it. Then we've got a local derby, West Brom against Wolves. Another could be carnage. West Brom attack have really improved. 3.2 compared to where they were against Wolves 3.4. Could be a Pereira day. Wolves 4.2 attack against West Brom 5.5. That still suggests Wolves, but quite frankly, Wolves were just abject crap last week against Burnley. Yeah. I'm as a Soucek owner, I am super worried. I think I'm benching him. I genuinely think I'm benching Soucek. I'd sooner play Vidra against West Ham.
That's a fair pick. That's a fair pick.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think Wolves is another team where we're seeing a lot of recency bias with Wolves as well. They had one abject game, and fair enough, it was so abject that it was traumatizing for those that watched that game. And
it was traumatizing for me as a Soucek owner.
Right, and I same here. I just brought Soucek in. He was my little prince.
Little prince.
Last week.
Prince. We need to take out the N and replace the E with K.
With K. Exactly. That's what he ended up being, isn't it? That's totally what he ended up being. But
I was ranting. I'd lost it. I'd completely lost it.
That's fine.
And the worst thing about it, I was a Vidra, and I played Vidra against him, of course, and I was thinking, well, I'm hedging my bets here. I'll either get a clean sheet or Vidra will get a goal. And of course, Wood does and gets 3 goals and an assist.
You're not the only one who had Vidra in his team. I did too. But see, it's also situational. Just coming back to game, it's also situational, right? It's like it's pretty obvious that Wolves have pretty much decided the season is over, and they are pretty much focused on next season, right? So now is the time to make hay. There we are, right?
Wolves
there
are on the beach, boys, 100%.
I can perhaps just get a cap.
Yeah, well, Wolves are on the beach. We're all on the beach
We're
now.
all on the beach with Wolves.
I have to say it was really caught, and of course I picked back in the wrong horse as usual. But saying that, if I'd have known you'd brought Vidra in, Shom, I wouldn't have bothered.
Oh my god! I haven't had the best of luck, have I?
No,
See,
you
look,
haven't.
I had Leno and Rob Holding, so there we are.
Oh, Holding. Oh,
yeah. Leno and Holding, so there we
he's
are.
our mate, Rob Holding. We love him here. We love him in that hole. Especially Gabe. He thinks he's a star.
Hold on now.
Talk on.
Hold on a minute. Yeah. Hold on for one more day. Yeah, there's another song. There we go. Right. Okay. Last one. Burnley against West Ham. Burnley now 3.4 attack. They're improving a lot compared to where they were. West Ham 3.4 attack. That's dropped off. So they've gone the other way. Just as I bring Lingard in. Did you bring Lingard in, Sean?
I had him for a bit. I got a little bit of his points.
Oh, okay. Then you sold him.
No, I still have him.
Oh,
you know what? I well might. If I sell him, go buy him quickly.
yeah, well, that's true. And West Ham defence 4.4 and Burnley defence 5.1. So looking at that, I mean, West Ham are riddled with injuries, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think that's the big problem there. They're really riddled with problems and injuries. So So I think they're. I think Burnley are. I think they're going to lose. I don't think they can carry on doing what they're doing. I think they're going to leave. I think they're leaving holes, and I think they're going to get caught. And I've gone for a 2-1 West Ham win, and Neema's gone for a 1-0 win. What we didn't mention was the West Brom and Wolves predictions. Actually, I must just go back up for the pod listeners. I predicted West Brom Wolves. I predicted 2-2, and Neema predicted a 1-0 win for West Brom. Sean, you wanted to grill me on something. According to this, you made it. I saw you scribbling out the corner of my eye.
Yeah. I had a couple of points. It's like no, not grilling you at all. Just a couple of points. First is, and it's a position thing. For the whole of this season, and I've been following Leeds very carefully. For the whole of this season, I feel that the one fixture where Leeds were comprehensively beaten was against Brighton, and this was Brighton at home. And that I think, for the kind of game that Potter plays, it's very much suited to the way that Leeds do, right? And it was a comprehensive 1-0 win, as Brighton is not a team that scores too many goals. I do not feel that this will be as easy a Leeds fixture as we think it would. And Brighton still has something to play for, so I think they'll do quite well. And I'd actually come to think of it, standalone would go for Brighton here.
Right, that's interesting.
Yeah,
and that's really interesting, considering that Trossard didn't have. I think he didn't have a single shot. Did he not have a single shot against
0.0? Yeah, absolutely. 0.0 XA.
I mean, for goodness sake, it's Sheffield United.
It'll go off.
I think
Mopai's ass or something.
Eventually. I think it's probably the only way that Mopai will score.
That's true.
He hits him in his face and goes into the net, quite frankly. Poor Mopai. Yeah. I mean, I owned Mopai earlier in the season. He didn't last long. It's a shame. As I say, Brighton, they play some decent football. They just haven't really got anybody. Maybe Welbeck's the man. I don't know.
Oh my God!
That's if he stays fit, of course. Right, that's me done. So I'm going to very quickly do Soucek Watch, and then I'm going to pass across to you, Gabe. So with respect to the headed matchups, and enjoy these last 3 or 4 weeks of Soucek Watch because it's going. We're getting rid of it. We're going to replace it, I think, with an algorithm 11 for next season. That's the plan. But anyway, with respect to the headed matchups, the only person who even predicted one last week was me because nobody else could be bothered. Gabe just gave up, quite frankly, because he's on the bench. I went for Sadio Mane, and that ended in tears again, but not quite as badly as it ended in tears with previous weeks with now Phillips. At least Mane played. So what have we got this week? We've got Burnley, West Ham, and West Ham Burnley, both 3.8. So that's interesting. So there could be a goal there. So it might be his namesake. Our namesake, the show's namesake might get it. It's Soucek. You never know. Man United against Liverpool, 3.8. That's interesting. Everton against Villa, 2.9. Could be a Calvert-Lewin day. And Liverpool, Manchester United, 2.6. Maybe again, Mane. I don't know. Who knows? But who have I gone for? Well, I mean, look, after last week's disgrace owning Vidra, it could only be one man. I've gone for Chris Wood.
Cue Vidra hat trick.
I've gone for Chris Wood. Last 15 shots in the box, 5 big chances, 5 headers, 2.99 XG. Not bad. I think I'll go with that. But Thomas Soucek was actually a man, but I thought it was boring, so I took him off. Any views on the headers, guys? Literally 5 seconds. Who do you reckon?
Nice.
You're joking. Really? Yeah, because he's on my bench. Thanks, man.
Good. I'm on the beach. I can say whatever.
No, I think, to be honest, the reason I've gone for Wood as well is that West Ham's defence is absolutely decimated. And I think it could well be a headed chance. That's why I just think it's a pretty good shout. I wish I owned him, but I've got Vidra, and I am not wasting a transfer going Wood to Vidra or Vidra to Wood. No chance. I'm not doing it. It's just stupid. So who else we got? We've got Dunk, Laporte on Soucek Watch from Nihal. Hisham saying, what's with the Soucek hype here now? Well, there isn't any. That's why we're getting rid of him. That's why we're getting rid of this section, quite frankly. So, right, Gabe, have you got your screen ready? We'll come to you.
I have my screen ready. It's a doozy. It's a big one. So bear with us.
Do you want to share it then? And then we'll. I'll see if I'm going to see if I can put the break in and see if it works, but I'm not convinced it's going to. Let's try. No, it's not going to work.
You mean we don't get a break?
No, we're just going to keep going. So anyway, I'm going to go straight to you then. And I don't know what's going on with this stupid bloody system today. I have no idea. But anyway, I've drank a bottle of wine. Maybe it has. Here we go. Gabe, over to you. Looks like you've got a load of screens up there. So
yeah. So I took a look. I did a scouting report this week on Sadio Mane and Mason Greenwood with anticipation of the big rivalry game coming up. What I liked is, I don't know, Mariner, if you remember when we got started, it was through the Manchester Derby report, and that's when we first started working together. So I thought it would be kind of a fitting topic to mark my partnership with FF Hub to do something similar over a rivalry game. And 2 assets that managers right now are wondering. Well, I think there's consensus on Greenwood. So I want to explain why all of a sudden Greenwood has been so good, and I want to explain what makes Sadio Mane good and what makes him not so good. So I'll start with the stats here. So this is on the left-hand side. We have blue Sadio Mane blue. That's game weeks 28 through 32, and that was 3 game weeks where he saw I believe returns in 3 straight, in 3 matches straight. So we see obviously the stats are much better here. I won't go through all the stats here, but just suffice to say that in the 3 matches in game weeks 25 and 26, his stats were almost non-existent, quite low. And then in game weeks 28 through 32. He saw some production and his stats increased. with that production. So far it makes sense, no surprises here. But where it gets weird is in this next slide. Here we go. So in the blue is those match weeks where he produced, where he got returns in game weeks 28 through 32, and then in the red, and these are per game totals, and in the red is the match against Newcastle where Mane blanked. Now things start to get weird here because in the match against Newcastle, his stats were eclipsed the stats of the games where he actually had some production. So I thought this was strange. When it makes sense when Mane's stats aren't good that he doesn't have production, but then in the match where again he doesn't have production, the stats are good. There's something weird going on. So I wanted to take a look at what's going on with Sadio Mane, and so I want to go back to the Wolves game. We'll start with the Wolves game, and so I'm going to take a little tip from Shum here. Shum gave me some good advice this morning on how to present this. So what I want to say, first of all, is Sadio Mane is the case of Sadio Mane really comes to his mindset and what's going through his mind. The idea is a player that's in form. If we think about what that means, we know what that means from a statistical perspective, right? We know when we're watching a match, we can see a player that's in form. But to dissect the kind of nitty-gritty of it, form, for me, in my opinion, comes down to instinct. And basically, the more a player thinks on the field, the less form he will be in. Thought is a barrier to production within the dynamics of the game of football. And I'll explain what I mean here. This is Mane against Wolves. Mane had the assist to Jota in the only goal in this game, so there was production here. So there are some plays that didn't lead to anything, but show him in good form. Here in the image, Mane is receiving the ball on the left side, the attacking left side, right on the edge of the box. And what I like here is when he receives the ball, rather than continuing the ball going and continuing it to the end line, he stops it. And there's this thing in football that Maradona is known for, and it's called la pausa, the pause, right? That pause makes defenders kind of go flat-footed for just a moment, but the instinct for Mane to do that on his first touch, to pause and then immediately explode into space, I think indicates good form, because you don't see him taking time with thought. This is just automatic, him doing this. Yep, there we go. With his next touch, Mane explodes into the space that he created by the pause. So he receives the ball, he pauses it, and the defender stops, and then he explodes into the space that the defender would have been in if he didn't pause. What I wrote here in the image is this is instinctual Mane, uncluttered by thought, 2 touches, and he's passed by a defender. And then I want you to hold on, the uncluttered by thought. Thought clutters the mind in a dynamic, expressive game, right? Here's the next play. This is actually the assist, I believe. Maybe not, but Salah plays this ball. So this time, for the podcast listeners, the ball is on the right side of the box. Salah plays it back to Trent, who's just outside the box. As soon as Salah plays that ball back, Mane, who's sitting at the top of the box, right in the middle, starts running. So Mane doesn't wait he doesn't think, well, is Trent going to cross this ball? Where should I go? There's no thought here. He sees space, he sees the ball rolling back, and he runs right into that space. Oh, no, this is not the assist. What happens here is Mane runs right into that space, right behind, I believe, that's either Neves or Moutinho that's right there. Probably Neves. And Mane goes for a diving header that just goes wide, just barely wide, this diving header. But he finds a space, he finds the ball, and gets a good opportunity on goal here. You can criticize his finish. Potentially, he should have hit it with the inside of his boot first time. Maybe he didn't need to dive. But his awareness and spatial recognition are very good here. Here's the assist. And what I like about this one is the ball starts right from Liverpool's left side. They're attacking Wolves' box. And then the ball gets played through Mane to the other side to Salah. So Mane is providing creativity, and he's linking play from side to side when he goes to Salah. Then Salah gives the ball back to Mane, and Mane goes back to the other side, but he also penetrates. It's a penetrating pass. So this shows Mane kind of in the middle of the field, linking play side to side and linking play vertically. And all of this just shows a player in good form who's feeling the right things, who's seeing the game in kind of like a matrix-like pattern where he sees everything going on at once and he knows exactly what to do. He doesn't have to think about what to do. And this is the one where Jota has that weird but really nice finish near post where he lowers his hip and drags his foot through the ball and sneaks it in Patricio's near side here. That's Wolves. Next example here is Arsenal. This is a quick one. This is just one slide here. This is Mane's assist against Arsenal. Salah plays the ball inside. We see Mane right in front of the penalty spot. Mane is going to receive this ball really quickly and just turn and lay it off into space. Jota is making the run behind Mane, but Jota is coming almost from midfield. So the fact that Mane sees Jota's run is incredible for me and really shows a player in good form because he's seeing everything. He has a 360-degree view, but not just that, he also has views at different depths. So it's like near view, medium view, and long. And he sees Jota coming from way back, and he knows he's going to fill that space. This is the one where Jota just slams it into the goal after Mane does that quick turn. Again, that kind of just instinctual turn and pass indicates a player in good form. Whoops, that's not where I wanted to go. That's later. Moving on. Again, more good form from Mane. This is the Leeds game. Jota drops deep in the midfield, right by the center circle there, and plays a long ball to Salah on the right-hand side. This long ball penetrates 3 lines and takes 4 defenders out of the play. This is a whole team in sync, a whole team in good form, knowing where everybody else is and trusting that if they play a ball without looking, that the player will be there. So he plays that long ball to Salah. Salah receives it on the right-hand side. When Jota plays that ball, Mane realizes, you can see Mane all the way to the left here. He's starting his run, but being careful to stay behind the ball so he's not offside. That early recognition indicates good form as well. Salah beats Melia to the ball. Melia probably shouldn't be coming up for that ball since Salah is already pressured by a defender. Usually if you have a defender on an attacker, the goalkeeper should not come out because that attacker already has somebody to deal with. I think Melia makes a mistake here. Salah gets there first, and without any complications, lays the ball off to Mane, and this is Mane's goal. This is Mane's goal against Leeds here. So again, it's not just Mane in good form; it's the whole team kind of in good form, understanding where everybody is. Now the bad. This is the game against Newcastle. Ball gets picked up on the left side, and Liverpool's left side here. As soon as it does, you see Salah and Mane start making the run. This is good stuff. This is what we want to see from Liverpool. Quick recovery of the ball in midfield, and Salah and Mane quick runs into space, into the space created by a high defensive line. So this is promising, right? This is the Liverpool that we've come accustomed to in past years. Salah gets the ball. He's going up. He's up against Dubravka. Mane is making the run just behind them. There's some green space all in front of him. In the previous match, Salah laid this ball off to Mane. In this match, Salah's thinking. This is thought cluttering action and delaying action. Salah's thinking. He gets too close to Dubravka, and Dubravka Dubravka saves it. Maybe not easily, but this is a missed opportunity with a player being somewhat selfish. Sometimes we want Salah to be selfish, but we want these players to be more like practical, right? Especially when they're not in good finishing form.
I was going to say, Gabe, please don't complain about this. I was petrified about Salah. I was like, oh God, no.
I was too, and I think he got hungry. Yeah, he scored that first goal, and then he got hungry. This was an easy assist for him that he didn't play, and it ended up costing them in the end. Next slide. This is the next play. Salah's in a position here. He does play the ball to Mane, right? But I think since in the previous play, Salah didn't play the ball to Mane, I don't know what Mane is thinking here, but he's definitely thinking something, and it comes to light in the next slide. So the next slide, Mane receives the ball, but notice his first touch. He's just to the from his perspective, he's to the left of Newcastle's penalty spot. He could have first timed this ball into the near post since Dubravka's coming from the other side. He's coming from the side where Salah was. But instead, he takes a touch, and his first touch makes the ball sit right between his feet. So then now he has a decision to make. His first touch did not lead to a second touch. So now he needs a second touch, and he realizes that near post is open. So his second touch is towards that near post to create that shot for himself, but it's reactionary and it's too hard, and Dubravka scoops it up. This is Mane receiving the ball, thinking about what he needs to do after he receives the ball. This is a player not in form because it's a player lost in thought. Form equals no thought, and not in form equals lost in thought. That's kind of how what's beginning to emerge here. Another play. This is on Liverpool's right side. They're approaching Newcastle's box. This is a bad pass from Longstaff. He passes it towards the middle. Mane collects the ball kind of at the top right side of the D, really close to the box here. He lays it off to Salah first time. Salah is really at an acute angle here, so it's kind of a bad area for Salah to receive the pass. What I want to see Mane do, this is again Mane thinking, and I think him lacking some confidence. A player with confidence here sees he's 1v1 basically in the box. You have to go for it if you're a world-class striker. If you're in a 1v1 position against a Newcastle defender, that looks like John Joe Shelby there, a Newcastle midfielder there, you have to take your chances if you're a world-class player. A quick Cruyff turn into the green area and a left-footed boot, this is a goal. But instead, Mane knocks the ball back outside to Salah. Salah receives it in the red area highlighted there, and you see I've noted like the shooting lane there. It's quite acute. It's a really small lane. It's a difficult ball for Salah to do anything with. The other thing, Salah receives the ball. He knows he needs more of an angle, but his first touch is soft. So his angle doesn't change with that first touch. Now he's got in a position similar to Mane a couple slides ago where he's forced to take a second touch, and then the third touch is the shot. Now his second touch to recover goes too far, and then it goes too far inside, and then the defender arrives, so his shot is hurried, he's off balance, and it goes into the side netting. A play that should have resulted in something completely wasted because of a lack of confidence from Mane and Salah overthinking what he has to do when he receives the ball. So that's the good and the bad of Mane. Mane is really very much just depends on what his mindset is. If he shows up with those fixtures that you mentioned, if he shows up in form without any thought, I highly recommend he do some meditation prior to matches, to clear his mind, do some Jedi training or something. If Mane is in form, I think with those good fixtures, he could really explode. But it's such a huge risk at 11.7 million. The risk is quite high.
I just realised I muted myself then because I was coughing. I was just going to say, I said Shom and I perhaps need to do some meditation after our last few weeks.
That is true.
Maybe that might work for us.
Well, too much meditation will put you on the beach, so watch yourself in there.
I've got a feeling now you're going to give us an opposite view, shall we say, of somebody.
So yes, so now we're going to get into Greenwood, and the case for Greenwood is different because of the following reasons. Greenwood, when his stats weren't good, there was no production. When he started producing, it's because his stats improved. So it's a much more direct relationship between production and his stats, and I'll show you why. And just to give you a sneak, Greenwood has changed. He, in the past few weeks, there's something that has clicked in this player. I don't know if he's recently learned it or just recently incorporated it. But I have to say, these are the moments where you have to give it to the coaching. In my opinion, I think Greenwood has been coached very well. He got some motivation last season. He hasn't been really involved this season, and now he's starting to show what he's truly capable of. So we'll start with the stats here. Really simple. Good Greenwood in blue, bad Greenwood in red. The stats when he's producing, the stats are just incredible. In the past three in game weeks 30 through 32 matches he started, 21 points, 3 goals. Expected points is up there at 18.83. Just those stats, shots in the box, 9 shots in the box, 4 big chances, 5 shots on target. All incredible stats, and the production shows it. Let's take a look at good money and bad money. So what I did is I selected these 2 matches in game week 26, I believe, where Greenwood blanked in both. One was against a very good defense in Chelsea, and the other one was against no qualifier needed, Crystal Palace. But he blanked in both. So what's going on here? He blanks against good teams and he blanks against Crystal Palace. So let's see what's happening here. Here we see Luke Shaw has the ball on the left side, kind of going towards the end line, and Greenwood is looking for space in the middle. He has Rudiger right next to him. I believe that's Rudiger and Kante, who are, as Greenwood is Greenwood is at the penalty spot, and he's going towards the ball, looking to receive it, maybe a one-time touch, one-time shot or something like that. But Rudiger and Kante block off that lane. So then you have to wonder, what should Greenwood do here? If he looks behind him, he has Dan James, and Fred making runs behind him. If Greenwood continues this run, he takes both Rudiger and Kante out of the middle of the box, and Dan James and Fred could have a chance here. However, Greenwood does not recognize that, and he stays in the area, so that the center of the box stays congested there. Shaw gets the ball to the other side. He gets the ball to Pogba, who's on the right side of the box. Now you have Dan James, Greenwood, and Fred all lined up at the edge of the 6-yard box in a straight line with 5 defenders. There's no space in there. There's no gap, but there's a space now because all three of the United players ran towards the 6. Now there's a big space in the penalty box. You want Greenwood to recognize the space and just step out of that box. If he does, then Pogba can get to the end line and pass it back to him. Pogba sees he has no options there inside the box, so he's forced to lay it back to McTominay, who, sure, McTominay has scored some goals in the past with some rockets with balls laid off like that, but it's not the guy that you want finishing, right? So again, Greenwood's movement here is and his awareness is lacking. Also keep in mind that's against a very good defense who packs it in, stays very compact, and packs the box. Here we have the fog bowl against Crystal Palace. In this match, we see where am I here? Something's off my face. We have Dan James again. We have Greenwood in the middle, right in the middle up by the penalty spot. But again, there are 2 Crystal Palace defenders in front of him. So he's not an option. He's not an option for Dan James, who has the ball on the right-hand side. So Dan James is forced to play the ball to the top of the box to Bruno Fernandes. And this is where we've seen Greenwood play in the past, where the ball just kind of goes past him. It's like he's standing somewhere, he's looking for space, and they'll pass around Greenwood. And the reason is, and that's when his stats are a little bit depressed, right? Because they can't find Greenwood, and Greenwood's not an option, can't find space. Just a quick check-in, guys. Are we doing all right? Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking forever.
No, this is really educational. Go ahead.
No, I'm quite enjoying it. I mean, from my perspective, I think it's nice the way you're actually doing it. I think, as I say, I think it's probably more difficult for the podcasters to listen to. So I would probably recommend for this section they do come to the YouTube and look at it. I think it's quite visual, but yeah, crack on, mate. We're all right for time at the moment. I'm all ready with the metric.
Sounds good. And yeah, for the podcast listeners, I do apologize. This week it's very heavy on the images. There are 33 images that I created for this week's article. So I'll continue here. So in cases like these, Greenwood's teammates seem oblivious to his presence on the field because he's rooted behind defenders. So the ball gets played out to Bruno here. Greenwood's still in the middle, kind of looking for it. Bruno continues the ball back around. He finds a Shaw wide on the left-hand side, who then Shaw crosses the ball into the center of the box. Greenwood, in this case, he's surrounded by defenders, but in this case, it's worth something because he's holding 3 defenders and making it possible for Dan James to be open. Unfortunately, Dan James is not a very good header of the ball, and Shaw plays a perfect cross right onto Dan James's head, but the header goes wide. Sorry. Next match, the Brighton match. Brighton match. So Greenwood he's an eager player. He's always like an eager puppy, like looking to do the right thing for the treat, right? And he's wanting the ball. So now he starts moving around the field and looking for the ball a little bit more. Here he recognizes the space left by Dunk as Dunk closes down Fernandes. So what happens here is Shaw gets the ball on the left side for United, plays the ball to the left corner of Brighton's box to Fernandes, who's running into that box. Dunk comes over hard to block Bruno's advancement, and that creates a gap right in the middle at the top of the box for Greenwood. Greenwood recognized this gap really early before Bruno even gets the ball, which I like. Now we're seeing some kind of recognition of space, more awareness, and Greenwood starting his runs much earlier. That's one way to tell form, is the timing of the runs. If a player notices a play developing even before the player to pass the ball receives the ball, I think that's an indicator of good form. Bruno gets the ball in the box, and Greenwood has his hands pointing at his feet, desperately wanting that ball, and you really like to see that in a player because he knows he's sitting in the passing lane between Bissouma and Dunk, and who is that? I don't remember who the defender is that's coming up behind Greenwood, but there's a moment here for Bruno to get him the ball. Is that Veltman? Thank you. Veltman. So right here. Yeah. If this is Fpllens is coming in on Greenwood. Bruno could play him the ball here, but Bruno takes a little bit too long with his touches, so he misses this passing lane. So it's interesting to see what happens next, because you wonder, is Greenwood going to stay rooted, or is he going to recycle and look for another run? Here we see the red line indicates the ball from Bruno. Bruno crosses the ball, such a great cross with the high point being right in the middle of the field. So what I did with this line, I tried to match the exact trajectory of the ball based on the video. So I hope I got that right. And this lines up really like a speculative but fun volley for Pogba. Like if he connects with this is going to be a really fun shot to hit. Obviously, Pogba doesn't connect with it, but what's important here, what I want to highlight, is as Pogba is lining up this volley from the right side of Brighton of the box and that he's attacking, the defenders are all watching what's happening, and they're all slightly stepping towards the ball. We see Bissouma's right next to Greenwood. He should be marking Greenwood, but he's doing a Rob Holding, and he's staring at Pogba, about to make the shot. Greenwood does not make that mistake. Look at Greenwood running into the box right in front of Dubravka, into the green box right in front of Dubravka. There's space there, and Greenwood recognizes it. He knows Pogba's going to shoot, but not knowing what's going to happen, it could be a bad shot, it could be a rebound. Greenwood knows exactly where to go, and he's going there early, again, before the ball arrives at Pogba, which you really like to see. What happens here? Pogba has a bad shot. Greenwood diving header right into that green box. Greenwood in the green box and scores with a diving header. And this goal is all about awareness. And that heightened level of awareness. Form is a heightened state of being. It's a heightened awareness. It's like taking mind-enhancing substances or something like that. That's what form is, and that's why I really like the Matrix analogy. Next match here, and this is the last match, the Spurs match. which was a really fascinating match here. See, Greenwood's coming here. The ball's on the right side, around maybe 2/3 of the way up the field for United here. I believe that is Dan James that has the ball. Bruno's holding 3 defenders, and Greenwood kind of slides in next to Bruno, right in between 4 defenders, in the space between 4 defenders. And I really like that spatial recognition of Greenwood in this slide. Dan James, rather than play the ball to Greenwood, he decides to go wide to Wan-Bissaka. As soon as no, that's not Dan James, is it? That's Lindelof. My bad. That's Lindelof plays the ball right on the touchline there to Wan-Bissaka, and as soon as he does that, Greenwood kind of sees how the defense is reacting and how Bruno could possibly get the ball. So there are 2 options here. Greenwood makes a run straight at the box. If the defenders follow him, then he opens up space for Bruno. If the defenders don't follow him, then Wan-Bissaka can play him into the corner. This, again, early recognition indicating form. The red line towards Bruno shows where actually Wan-Bissaka plays the ball. So Greenwood takes the defenders away. Ball goes inside to Bruno. We see Reguilón and Rodon. Maybe I should call him Rodon. Reguilón and Rodon. They follow Greenwood, and that opens up the space for Bruno. As soon as Bruno gets the ball, though, Reguilón recognizes this, and Bruno has no pressure. So Reguilón needs to step to Bruno as soon as he gets the ball. Once he does this opens up space for Greenwood. Greenwood pulls Reguilón back. Bruno receives the ball, and Reguilón comes forward and leaves Greenwood alone. It's such a good play. Now we see Reguilón right next to Bruno, but Bruno has laid the ball off to Greenwood. In this image, we see Cavani is getting into the play, and we see Eric Dyer, of course, Eric Dyer, ball watching. Cavani slips in behind Eric Dyer. Greenwood has already seen him doing this. Eric Dyer, eyes glued to the ball like a puppy, and Greenwood, first time cross into the box, right into this green area behind Dyer, which I just love the maturity to this. He knows to take a first time touch. He knows the technique to use on this cross. And I'll show the curvature of the cross in the next slide. But he whips the ball in, so it goes over the high point is when it reaches Eric Dyer, and then it lands right on Cavani's head, which is just brilliant. See the high point of the ball here. Eric Dyer with a courtesy hop, pretended that he can maybe get to it. And then there's Eric Cavani. I love this player. He's just so incredible. Eric Cavani with a diving header right into the low near corner. Assist by Greenwood. Just a really, really good team goal involving starting from Lindelof to Wan-Bissaka to Bruno to Greenwood to Cavani. A lot of one-touch play there. A lot of understanding. And Greenwood at the heart of that. So we've seen. I'll stop sharing here. We've reached the end of the presentation. So just to conclude, Greenwood has learned something. He went from not finding the space once it closes down to continuous movement, continually finding the space. And I think that's development. That's not form. That's development. And development is much more sustainable than form. And I think that's the lesson here. The lesson from is form versus development, and I think Greenwood has developed, and that's why I see him as a really great asset. And then even this week against the team that's ranked number 9 in your FDR, there, Mariner.
Yeah, and I think what people forget is just how young Greenwood is.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
He's just a baby, really, in real terms, isn't he?
That's true.
And to see this kind of development this early, because it's a seismic development, right? He went all season. He's been kind of lost whenever he's played. He hasn't found that space. And the past several matches, he has, and I think that's sustainable. I really like him for the rest of the season.
I like what Macha has mentioned as well.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Could be Cavani's influence as well, right? If you see somebody like that, and Cavani has got like spectacular movement, right, on the box. So he just pretty much knows where to be, right? So having somebody like that to look up to and actually playing with can make a bit of difference.
Yeah.
Well, Cavani, his presence on the field and off the field, I would say, because Cavani is the ultimate professional. This guy, he's not young. He's super fit. You never see him like really in the media. I mean, there was that thing on Instagram that was a kind of a misunderstanding in my opinion. But I think he's arrived at this team and just elevated the level of professionalism. And I think it's exactly what this team has needed. So we have to think of the influence both on the field with his movements, that he makes players smarter. Cavani makes other players smarter because of his movement. So because he teaches players where to look for space. And he makes them professionals off the field. So that's a great point by Macha.
Definitely. Gabe, thank you. I'm sure people enjoy it on Fantasy Football Hub when they have a chance to have a read of it. And it's always good that we get a live version of it, which is we're quite honoured, I think.
A detailed walkthrough, yeah. This is spectacular. This is
absolutely.
I'm so glad, and I do want to thank Fantasy Football Hub. I mean, I love their resources, their tools, and it's just they're just great people to work with. I've had the fortune to work with just incredible people in the community. So thanks to them as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so back to me then. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at the captaincy. First of all, we always look back at how we did last week. And apart from Mason Greenwood.
Nice turnaround, isn't it?
We did all right. 3 out of 4. Salah, Community, Iniacho. The metric nailed Iniacho. To be fair, that metric is doing. We'll come on to how the metric's doing in a second, but you know, to actually get that one, I think it made a few people sit up and look in the community, which is what we want it to do. And we want to keep it. The metric wants to keep challenging the thought process, and we're going to come on to this in a minute because it's going to be
one of my favorite things about the metric. Honestly, is that it doesn't churn out the automatic pick.
No,
and that's what I find is really the special thing about the metric.
It doesn't this week. The cat got it right. I think the cat's on a run now. I'm gonna have to check back, but I think he's got 3 or 4 now on the trot.
The cat's on the run.
No, he was here a minute ago. I don't know if you just saw him just in the corner of the screen. His head just popped in, then he dived off. But yeah, 3 out of 4. So we can't complain with that. Let's have a look at the metric against the Mariner, and the Mariners failing miserably again. But anyway, there's nothing new there in recent weeks. The metric now is on 82% hit rate. It's had 1 blank since game week 19.
That's madness.
7, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double figures during that time. And of course, that's before you double it. Remember, that's just the base. These are base points you're seeing. All right. So 27 out of 33. So it's got 82% hit. It's projected to score 645 points this season now. And I don't think. I think there's not many metrics out there going to be at that level. Mm-hmm. I mean. Average points 16.8. So no, it's doing pretty well. On the other hand, I'm not. It's a sea of red. It's like a red wall on my side. Bruno, I genuinely thought Bruno was the right option. I stand by it. Maybe I didn't give Leeds the credit that they were due with respect to it. Just think Bruno's perhaps not quite. He's off free kicks as well now. He's off dead balls, and that's a bit of a worry for me because some of Bruno's returns were off dead balls, right?
Yeah. Certainly. But we've spoken about Bruno and Pogba's presence and what that does to Bruno and how he's more stuck on the left side now, and he creates, as far as creating chances for others, he doesn't create many chances from that side. That's the side that he likes to shoot from. But he's not getting those opportunities to shoot. And like you said, I think we do have to credit Leeds and the way they've adapted their style of play for the tough run that they've recently had.
Absolutely. So okay, so that's where we are with that. So as I say, I'm lagging.
Look, I'll make you feel better. You know how many captain points I have this season? 429.
Oh my god.
That includes a 57 from Gundawan.
429. I'll tell you how much I've got. I've got 238 into 2. That is 472. Okay, not much better.
So,
yeah.
I'm doing better than you guys. Last year I really struggled, so I'm not too bothered. But I'm just cursing. I'm cursing one or two picks in recent weeks, but anyway. So no, I'm lagging behind the metric now. Say if people want to look at the graphics, it'll be in the it'll be on the show. But I always post this on Instagram as well. But that will be if I get round to posting it before the deadline. So anyway, moving on to the cat pick and the community poll. Well, we didn't put Sun in because I saw somebody else, Kane, had smashed Sun out the park on a different poll, so I didn't even bother. I mean, I think Sun would be second or third in real terms. I think people would still fancy Sun. Not quite sure whether they'd fancy him over Iñárritu, being honest with you. But Kane, 75%. Again, his EO is going to be huge, but the metric doesn't care about EO. Neither does the cat. So I suggest we see what the cat's going to do. Hopefully this will work, because everything else has not worked tonight. So hopefully this will. It's going to work. Here we go.
There we go.
I think Julian couldn't be bothered to put the names down. He was so hungry again.
He's like, why only 2 treats?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, he's getting hungry and hungry. He's the moment those things go on the floor.
Pavlov's cat.
Yeah, Pavlov's cat. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the metric, but I'm going to give it a bit of a lead into it. The metric, if it ignored rotation, would have 5 Manchester City players in the top 8.
Wow. Okay.
If it ignored rotation, and KDB would be top. All right. So that's the background to this. So that tells you how strong the metric rates the City matchup. Right. So it really loves the City matchup. So who is going to be the captain? Who is going to be the metric this week? And Gabe, you know this. If you didn't, I think you would fall off your chair. It's Gabriel Jesus. I am shocked. I am very shocked. And I'll tell you why I'm shocked. Because look at this. Because he's still top, and we're only expecting him to play 70 minutes.
Wow.
If he played a full match, he is a streets ahead of everybody else because of the matchup. So for the real quickly for the podcast listeners, what this is the what do you call that? The qualifier or something that's given to city players for rotation. So everyone's at a 1 because they're expected to play. Kane will play.
That's right.
Iñárritu will play. And this one is at we're at 0.66. We took away a third. So it's everything minus a third, and he's still top.
I mean, look, I'm looking at the comments now. Strong test of my faith in the metric. Fine, bring it on. We could have took him out. We could have bullshitted you all. We're not here to bullshit you. We're here to say, look, we're here to test it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If you don't own Jesus, fine. You probably don't. You probably do own Iniacho, who's in second, and Kane, who's in third, though.
But then when you think about it, Jesus rested midweek up against Palace. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue that.
If you look at it, it's bangers thinking I took it seriously. I haven't. Seriously, I took it seriously. The captain metric, if we look at it, so Jesus 83, Iniacho 81, Kane 81. Put it in context. Last week, Iniacho 84, Bruno 83, Rashford 82. As I said, if you'd have actually have considered all the other Manchester City assets, and I'm just going to move this onto the screen so you can see. There you go. De Bruyne 84, Mahrez 81, Gundogan 81, Sterling 79.
Oh, with Mahrez, you have kept it at 1, right? The potential of staying.
I could take that. I don't know. Did I? Maybe I didn't because he's been. Yeah. No, he's 0.66.
Oh, he's 0.66 as well. Yeah, okay.
They should all be 0.66.
Oh, okay. Iheanacho is 1. Yeah, okay. This is fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So looking at that, if you get the right City asset, as I said earlier on, they could go crazy. Now, we probably don't even own them. And I've seen a few people in the Twitter community, actually talking up City assets. But the caveat is you might not have them. And it's a risk. It's a big risk. Will I be captain? Will I be bringing in Jesus and captaining him? No, I won't. But from the perspective of the metric, we have to say, right, come on then. Are you going to get this right? If you get this right, fair play to you. Move on to next week and see who it picks next week. I genuinely thought it would pick Iniacho this week. I said it earlier. The problem is Leicester's numbers were not great in the match. Leicester's numbers dropped off a little bit, and that was even with Iniacho's returns. So his returns were great, but then the numbers fell away. So that's the way the metric works. You mentioned rotation, Gabe. As you say, Jesus didn't play the Carabao Cup final. He didn't play the semi for the Champions League. He only played 45 minutes against Villa. He's only got 12.5% rotation in the last 5 game weeks. So he's actually one of the few players who is, up front, who is actually playing a bit. And again, if we put the rotation back onto the screen, again, you can see here, De Bruyne 76%, Mahrez 53, Gundogan 66, Sterling 67. Is there any wonder that we've moved these players out? There isn't, is there?
No.
There's no wonder. So that's where we are with that. Let's quickly talk about the other. I'll just mention one thing. His form looks terrible. It's bright red, but remember that's divided by 0.66. That's reduced.
Yeah.
So he still has 1 double return and 6 occasions of single returns in the last 12. And again, he's 2.7% owned.
The one thing I will say about Jesus is he only has 1 double-digit return all season, so his upside seems to be limited. And it's in the last 12, so it's in there. But you look at the Hall column there, and it's an 8, so it is lower than the other ones. You see Iheanacho and Kane similar at about 25%, 23%, 25%.
I agree, and we called net that Hall. The thing is that we also need to net that return.
Yes. We need to avoid netting the blank is what we need to do.
Let's not net a blank. That is the first priority. Let's not net a blank. And secondly, if we can get a big haul, then let's get it.
That was the original idea for the name of the show. Is let's not net that blank. It was too complicated, too long.
I just want to touch on Iniacho, Kane, and Lingard. So Iniacho, just again for the podcasters, Jesus' fixture difficulty is 120.9. That's really good. It's bright green. Suggests it's really good. Iniacho's fixture difficulty, on the other hand, is 112. So it's tougher. Last week, he had a fixture difficulty of 116. He's got solid form, Iniacho. 3 double returns in the last 12, 7 single returns. He's 23% owned. Probably a lot more in the higher echelons of FPL as well. Kane, 113. So similar fixture difficulty to Leicester. That's an important point. His numbers, they're not brilliant numbers, even against Sheffield United. But Kane's form's solid, 6.6. He's got three double returns, 6 single returns, but he's 45% owned. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that, right? A lot of people are going to be looking and saying, do you know what? I don't think it's the week to go away from Kane. It's maybe where I am as well, to be honest with you. And Lingard, who's in 4th. And again, I'm surprised. And I thought, I half expect. I think I said a few weeks ago, Gabe, didn't I, that I thought Lingard might well be topping the metric by this stage. That's
again, their stats have dropped,
and that's the West Ham drop off. That's exactly it. So everything which you saw earlier on, all sort of like just moves, it all just trickles through into the other spreadsheets. You see. So his fixture's pretty tough. 106.7. Much worse than both Kane and Iheanacho's, but he's got 4 double returns, and 8 occasions of a single return in the last 12. That's why he's up there.
Can I ask a question on Kane? And this isn't metric specific, but just wondering what you guys think. I feel like everybody's assuming that Kane is healthy, but he did not look healthy to me in the cup final. So just wondering what people's thoughts are on whether Kane is healthy or not, and if he plays the way he did in the cup final, I think he may not be that kind of goal scoring player. He may be more of a link player or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
So I feel that it's against Sheffield United, right? So the floor is pretty high, right? He takes penalties. He takes pretty much all the dead ball situations, right? Except for corners, of course. The floor, there is potential for a major haul. The fixture is pretty much as good as you can find. The floor is high. That's why it is, that's why I'd really not like to veer away from Kane. I do realize what you're saying, that even not at 100% Kane is still a very good captaincy shout, I believe, in this fixture for all of these reasons.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Who's playing Manchester City? That's me. That's my perspective. I also think that Kane is saying the right things. He is, he may well leave at the end of the season, but if he does, he wants to go out on a high with a bang. I mean, you're saying, I want to win the last 5. We want to win the last 5 games, and I think they do like Mason. Clearly, I think he's well liked in the club. Probably a hell of a lot more than your mate Gabe, who you've actually been compared to in the chat tonight.
I have.
He has. How did I miss?
Someone actually said if Mourinho did the analysis that Gabe did, he might still have his job.
He needed to do a Bielsa, right? Hey, I really need you to do a Bielsa of Iheanacho at some point, because I haven't analyzed very well. I've been on the beach, right? But if you can, and your analysis is pretty perfect, do that for Iheanacho at some point if you can.
I did one. I'll send it over to you. I did a scouting report on Iheanacho.
Oh, lovely.
Please do. Edwin said Moo will still have his job if he'd done 50% of the analysis that Gabe did.
Fair point.
Fantastic. So no, my parting shot on Spurs is that I need to pick a differential captain.
Well, I want to leave people with a doubt on Kane, because I'm known for hating Spurs. Kane has struggled with ankle injuries in the past that have sidelined him for extensive periods of time. This is an ankle injury, and the Euros are coming up this summer. How? I would throw the question out to the void, and how much does Kane want to risk the Euros for Sheffield United? I'll just leave that there, and we'll all probably go with Kane anyway.
No, you're maybe not wrong, but if that's the case, then isn't this man the differential? Right?
Who's that?
You'll get it in a minute.
Uh-huh.
Oh God,
Oh my God! Don't do this. No.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I can't take him off. I can't take his name off. It's not. Nothing's working tonight. It's
That's what you get.
Gareth Bale, the golfer.
Oh, okay. There we are.
It's the golfer, Gareth Bale. Very good shout, Hisham.
Good shout.
Mason Mount. I only wanted to do this for a prop, nothing more. I had to mention Gareth Bale somewhere in this tonight, and that's the reason why.
Right.
Gareth Bale is the differential.
Now you're just trolling me. Man.
Look, it's a pure punt. Gabe hates him. Sheffield United are terrible. Mason likes him. Why not?
What can go wrong? What can go wrong? Absolutely.
And my driver Ed looks like Hibbo.
Oh my God! You cannot do this.
He
did not mean that, Hibbo. He did not mean that.
I threw it across the room last week, didn't you see? You've not been watching the shows. You can't come
No,
on.
I have.
We're on the beach.
No, I'm on the beach, but I didn't watch that show. I did watch the show with him, all right.
Oh God! So we'll summarise anyway, and we'll get onto the questions and get out of here. So community poll is Kane, Metrics Jesus, Catpick's Niacho, and differential is the golfer. So on to the questions, chaps. And the first question, in fact, I think we've got 3 questions on the carpenter. Do you know the carpenter? Do you know who the carpenter is, Sean?
No.
You haven't been watching.
No, I haven't. Okay, you tell me.
Oh man, trap. Man, it's a trap.
Well, who likes woodwork? There's only one, isn't there? It has to be Watkins.
Yep. Well done.
He loves woodwork. He's always
well done. Well done. That's true.
He loves it.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, so we've got. So I'm just going to look back. I've got 11.
Our friend Trossard doesn't do a very good, but very bad job of it. But we cannot talk Trossard right now because we'll know what comments will follow, right?
Oh well, we can't. Yeah, you're probably right. We can't talk about. We can't talk about that. So righty-ho. So I've got views on Watkins. Watkins to Wood. That's 2 questions. So just a general view on Ollie Watkins, and then the Watkins to Wood move. Sean?
So Watkins to Wood for 1 game week, etc., is fine. But we have seen historically that once Burnley hit their coveted target number where they are safe, they pretty much go like Gabe and myself to the beach as well. So for a week, maybe yes. For a couple of weeks, maybe yes. For the long term, I have doubts. And with the amount of fixture congestions that you'll have with the doubles and etc., it's tricky. I wouldn't go for him. But whether I'd keep Watkins as well is a good question, because as you have seen in the numbers a little while back, Villa is not really Villa is not one of the best attacking teams at this moment. So Watkins to somebody else, maybe, not Watkins to Woods.
But he's got a double game week, and he's got a double game week against Everton, who are not pulling any trees up defensively. So if I had Watkins, I don't know that I'd sell him. That's my view with the double game week coming up.
I agree. I would look for more, like at this latter stage of the season. I'd be looking for more upside transfers. Watkins to Woods seems like maybe a sensible mid-season transfer with some good run of fixtures ahead. But it's quite sideways for right now when we have so few transfers remaining.
There's an upside move for you, Gabe, from Nihal. You can answer this one.
Nihal, honestly, if you want to go golfing with the differential captain, more power to you.
For the benefit of the podcasters, on the screen, the question from Nehal is Bruno to Bale and Davis to DCL or Watkins this week for no hit. Well, I actually think there's some upside there.
The thing. So here's where I'm coming from. If you're getting Bale, are you getting Bale ahead of Son? You know, does he have Son?
Good question, actually.
And do you want to triple up, like we mentioned earlier? Are you really going to triple? Obviously, you're going to have Kane. You might have Son. You should have Son before you have Bale, and then you're going to triple up and spend what is it? Maybe almost 30 million, a third of your budget on the attack of a team that is ranked mid-table in the attack FDR in your metric. I just don't see the upside. I don't think there is upside. If Bale scores, it's gonna be a fluke thing. I think, and he could score and he could return, but I don't see the upside.
And Nehal does mention that he does have Son as well, and I completely agree with what Gabe said right now. As in, I do not think that Spurs has a potential at this moment as an attack to carry 3 attacking players.
No, I might not even bring Son in yet. My original plan was to go from Bruno to Son, or ditch Maddison and go back to Son from Maddison, because as I say, our WhatsApp group, that whole WhatsApp group, I put a question on it just before I recorded the Compass show, and I just said, "How was Maddison, guys?" And Hibbo replied, "Shite." That was it. I was like,
he's broken his leg now. He's okay.
Like, then. Yeah. How was he? Shite. Yeah, enough said. Good God. Right, hang on a minute. I'm just looking for some more questions on here.
Hey, Late Riser.
I've got one here. How do we feel about from Siva? How do we feel about Mateus Pereira? Too late, Sean?
Well, with the form that he has, it's not too late. He's one of the top 4 or 5 in your forms list as well, right? So it's not too late. And what fixtures do they have? Let's see. They have Arsenal, always potential. Oh, they have Wolves. Wow. Okay. We know we had been talking about Wolves right now. We have Arsenal, we have Liverpool, we have West Ham, who are not really the best defensive team right now, and we have Leeds. So in the long run, I wouldn't go for I wouldn't probably go for him, but he is within the consideration set. Do you have 5 better players? If you are thinking of 4 midfielders, do you have 4 better midfielders? Probably yes. Probably I'll go for Lingard or somebody like that. Probably you don't have or probably even Jared Bowen before him. But yeah, he is in the consideration set, certainly.
The one thing I'll say about Mateus Pereira is that a lot of his recent production has come through pens. He's had a lot of penalty kicks recently, and that may continue. But just something to keep an eye on, because it might not be sustainable.
I'll tell you what, I think I predicted 2-2. I mean, if Wolves were as bad as they were last week, it could be 4-0.
Or they might be as good as they
might turn up. It's a local derby. It's a local derby. He's probably kicked him all around he's probably kicked him around the changing room. He's probably got his Mike Bassett. He's probably gone full Mike Bassett on him.
Oh,
I love that program. Right, next one. Rakesh, Bruno to Son, straightforward. Well, actually, not straightforward. It's a straightforward question. Not sure it's a straightforward answer. Double game week for Bruno coming up.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get him back in, aren't you?
Maybe I think you might do it if you still had your wild card in your back pocket, like Nima.
Mm-hmm.
I might do it there, but I don't know that I don't know if I've got Bruno now. If I haven't already got rid of him, and to be honest, I've been thinking about getting rid of him for a few weeks, but then I go and captain him, and then look what happens. But I reckon I'd probably hold him now. If I was going to move to Son, it would be from Maddison on the back of Hibbo's shite comment.
Yeah. Hashtag analysis.
Hashtag yeah.
Shite.
Analysis. You cannot do that.
Hashtag analysis. Yes. Gabe, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I don't own Bruno now, and Bruno's a player that I will be bringing in for the double. So unless there's like it's part of like a larger plan, some hokey cokey or hokey pokey, depending on what continent you're in. Son to Bruno or Bruno to Son, and then Son to Bruno. I could see that. But in general, I think you're gonna want Bruno. You're gonna want Bruno in the coming game weeks.
I agree.
Yeah,
I had Bruno straight through. I never thought of getting rid of him.
I might, if I'll tell you when I might get rid of Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
If between now and game week 36, Mane scores more than one goal.
Salah, Mane.
Mane. If Mane scores more than one, I already own Salah.
Yeah,
if
that's what I'm saying.
Mane scores more than one goal between now and 36, I could go Bruno to Mane for the run in, and just lump on those those dark green fixtures for Liverpool. Which, quite frankly, I don't think I've seen matchups as strong.
Right, that is true.
I said this on Tuesday night. I can see Liverpool dishing out some total beatings.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
total beatings. I'm talking, 6, 7. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Liverpool don't turn someone up a 6 or 7 between 36 and 38 at all.
Take it out on these guys, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking Bruno, after that double game week, Bruno could be the person to go for Mane. If Mane does, I won't move him to him unless he's scored between now and then.
Right.
Unless he's scored probably a couple and started to look a little bit more like it. I'm going to need to rely on Gabe's eye test, quite frankly, because I think he's getting plenty of shots, but he's just, like you say, he's just devoid of all confidence, as you said really, really well earlier in the show. So, but I think otherwise I could probably see with you, Sean, I could probably just hold him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Just one small thing. I can consider moving on I can consider moving Bruno on, but only for KDB. Because you'd remember something that Pep often talks about. Says that, he doesn't want to rotate too many players. There we are. He doesn't want to rotate. There he is. Yeah, he doesn't want to rotate too many rotate players too often before a Champions League kind of a thing, because he says people can move out of form. And he doesn't want that with KDB, right? And assuming that they actually win the second round and against PSG and move to the finals. So, yeah. So that could be a consideration as well.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the thing is, would you really expect Pep to? I mean, he probably wants to have some continuity to go if they do get to the final. Some continuity to go to the final, I would say. That's the only thing which makes me think he might play them, but I'm still not convinced. I think Pep knows. I think he would be mortified if his general in KDB goes and gets injured again just before that final. I think it's just too big a game for them.
Yeah,
it is.
It's just an enormous game. But Nehal's saying KDB in 36 is the move. Would move Bruno on for KDB. I mean, fair play. I'm saying, looking at those fixtures, I may still move Bruno on. Now, if KDB is looking like he's going to be a bit more nailed, then it's an obvious choice, isn't it? So here's a couple more questions, then we'll get out of here, I think. So here we go. There's one more question. I've got Dallas in this week. But who to replace, TAA or Shaw? TAA or Shaw for Dallas?
There are 3 other defense spots, right?
I read it.
In your defense. Okay, sorry, you go first.
But I was just going to say, just the way we're reading it, I think Mr. Ali brought Dallas in, but who to replace in the starting lineup? Like so who's starting?
All right. Yeah, now
should he bench TAA or should he bench Shaw?
Thank you, Gabe. It's getting a bit late across here. I need someone.
I need my second cup.
more coffee in the veins than me at the moment. That's probably explains it. And I've got Shom's disappeared behind the thing as well, so I better take that off.
That's okay.
So who would you play if you had to play one out of TAA or Shaw? Who would you play? Bloody hell, that's tough.
It is tough.
I reckon I would play Shaw on the back of he's on the set pieces and Liverpool's defence is weaker than Manchester United's defence. That's where I would go.
I can never imagine making a 7.3 million defender sit.
Well, you own them both. I mean, quite frankly, if you would get 7 million defenders, you would put them all in.
That is possible. That is possible.
It's difficult because, well, if we go with Shaw, then Shaw's going against the #1 attack per your metric, Mariner. So that's there's an inherent risk there. But here, I think I would probably start Shaw over TAA because I believe there's more opportunity behind Trent. So for Shaw to get behind Trent than for Trent to get. It's not behind Shaw because Shaw barely comes back. Shaw is barely in his box. So the United back line actually shift left, and Maguire covers for Shaw. So it's really you're looking at Trent against Maguire, and Shaw will be further up, and Shaw against Trent. So I think I prefer Shaw against Trent than Trent against Maguire.
Well, can I say something? I'll say something to Mr. Ali.
Of course you can. You're here.
There we are. I'll say this thing to Mr. Ali. He shouldn't worry about it because I'm pretty sure that he has a Man City defender in his team. So pretty much keep the other person as your first sub, and invariably you'll find that the Manchester City defender that you've got is not playing, and this guy is subbed in.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He's also
it's happened so many times for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it happens to other people.
There's also a little question about he's not sure if the clean sheet was possible for Dallas. And I'm not convinced the clean sheet's possible for Dallas, really. But that said, Brighton couldn't hit a barn door from a yard again. So if Brighton carry on the way they are, then a clean sheet is entirely possible. I just don't know. I don't see many goals, but do Brighton just need something just to finally get over that line? Have they got that bit more to play for?
I don't think so. No.
I do. I had told you about my analysis of this match. I think it will be a Brighton game, but it will not be a high-scoring one.
No, I don't think there's many goals in it either. Right, okay, well, one more. There's still a few questions coming in. So, Nehal, would you start Veltman or Cody if Rudiger misses out? Mate, if I only had 10 players, I wouldn't play a Wolves defender after last week. I would bench him. It's like the old trick. I always remember an old Sunday League trick where we used to play Sunday League football in Lincolnshire back in the years. And we had one player who was so bad, we only had 10 players. And he says, right, I'm on then. He said, no, you stay sub.
Good one.
We played, we died.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's how I am with Wolves at the moment. I'm so mortified after last week. It was so bad.
It was a traumatizing experience for sure.
It was really bad.
I absolutely have nothing to add onto that.
I think I'd play Veltman, especially with no Rafinha.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be me anyway. I mean, Bamford to me looks a shadow of the player he's been without Rafinha. He really does. But you watch what's happened now. Yeah. Yeah. He's your mate anyway. You shouldn't be saying anything, Gabe.
Shepherd.
You can't say that.
Oh,
you just have.
I'm on the show. I thought I could say anything.
Oh God. Right, I think we're done, guys. We're nearly coming up to 2 hours. We're hitting our 2-hour watershed. We've had a great time as always. As I say, we had a little bit of a slow start tonight, what with a few technicals and also the need to get a few real world sort of stuff out on the table as well, and I think it's always nice too. So yeah, there's our new logo. There's our new rebrand. The YouTube channel is now called, or it will be called, Net That Hall. By next week, I'll have all the StreamYard stuff done, so that'll all be sorted as well. As we say, hashtag no to racism. We're all going to have a very quiet weekend this week, and let's stick to it. If you want to do it, as Gabe said earlier on, no, you don't have to. If you do, but if you want to, then stick to it and have a nice weekend. And yeah, let's net. We can still talk about it on Monday, can't we? After all, Gabe, thank you, mate.
Thank you, and thank everyone for joining us in the chat. A lot of people in there. It was very lively, so it's always a pleasure. And please do check out my first article on fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. I'm quite excited about it and quite excited about the partnership.
Yeah, absolutely, brilliant for you. I'm so pleased for you. You really deserve it. And you hit 5,000 followers on Twitter as well.
And I hit 5,000. So thank you very much. I'm feeling quite grateful and humbled this week.
Super well deserved.
Sean, Bagan Boy FPL on Twitter. Thank you very much as well for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you on again. And I'll only echo what you said earlier on. You know, I hope things turn around in India pretty soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do keep us in your prayers.
That we will do. We definitely do that. And it's as I say, pretty bad stuff, I'm afraid. But let's hope that it turns soon. And guys, I think that's about all we really have time for today. So I think with nothing more to say apart from, if you enjoyed this show, please give us a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell for notifications. On Tuesday you'll find us on Twitter. That's FPL Mariner, that's Fpllens, and that Bagan Boy FPL. And you'll find Gabe's stuff still with allaboutfpl.com, and I think that's an important point, Gabe. You're not stopping for them, are you? You're doing both. Sean, you'll be back on, I'm sure, pretty soon. And yeah, you'll also find it on a pod. So we'll just send this across to Nima, and he'll be able to upload it. So you'll be able to hear all the disasters in your ears when you're walking the dog, when you've looked at that this weekend because you won't be on Twitter. So yeah, apart from that, guys, all I can say is get those green arrows. I'm even hoping for one this week. Net that haul, and we'll catch you all really, really soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.